Welcome to Creating Disney Magic with Lee Cockerell. Lessons in leadership, management, and customer service. You can create magic too. I'm your host, Jody Mayberry, and with us is Lee Cockerell coming live from his office. How are you, Lee?
Hey there, yeah, good. We had a nice Thanksgiving. Went to neighbors. They cooked, they cleaned up, they gave us leftovers, and we came home, went to bed. So we had a perfect Thanksgiving.
Yes, Thanksgiving is always a good holiday when someone else does the cooking and cleanup.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, so all's good.
Well, Lee and I have a good topic for you this week. Before I go there, let me tell you about our friends at Magical Vacation Planner. If you're taking any trips at the start of next year or planning ahead for summer already, give them a call at 407-442-2694. They can help you plan a great vacation. And it'd be kind of like going to someone else's house for Thanksgiving, where you get to enjoy the meal, but you don't have to cook or clean. That's kind of what it's like using Magical Vacation Planner. Well, a couple of years ago, Lee and I did this program with the Escape Game, wonderful company out of Nashville, and they do escape rooms. If you haven't done one, I would recommend it. Now, we even got Lee to go through an escape game room. We did a virtual one, and then we did one in person. What did you think of that, Lee?
I thought it was a lot of fun. I was very bad at it. Luckily, we had you and some other people who have more attention to detail, can think more straighter than I can. But it was fun, and I think the key was I'm glad you guys were with me, or I'd been there the rest of my life, because really took a team to solve all the little hints and evidence that we had to keep searching for. So I think I learned a good lesson there of solve problems with other people.
Well, and that's exactly what I wanted to talk about, Lee. We did this program with the escape game for their virtual escape rooms, where you would hear from Lee and I, and then you would do a virtual escape room, and then we would talk about solving problems as a team. And we really saw that when we did the escape room in person. And like Lee said, he would have been stranded there probably still without the team. And this is what I saw, is that each person had something they were good at. Now, Matthew Miller, he was pretty much good at all of it, but everyone had one thing they were good at. And as a whole, that contributed and got us out of the escape room. But I want to take that ideally and take it into the workplace. And we would perhaps think of solving problems by ourselves. So Lee might have a problem, and then he goes in his room, closes the door, and comes out with the grand solution. I think some people think that's how leaders should be. Like, once you get a title, I have to figure this all out. But that's not true. You usually want to solve problems with your team. So Lee, talk to us about, you've got an issue, bringing your team together to solve it instead of doing it alone.
Well, I think certainly in the recent history of the 40s, 50s, 60s, even into the 70s and 80s, that probably was the theory, that the boss figures everything out, solves the problems, tells everybody what to do, and we implement. And so that obviously, as times changed and generations changed, and young people still got, I think, even more need to be involved, to be listened to be heard. Some management has slowly gotten better at this, and some have gotten a lot better at it. And there's no question about it that I really learned that at Disney. I learned that probably more at Disney, that to solve problems, you really need to get the experts in a room, and you need to hear from all of them, because each one of them is an expert at something you're not. And certainly everybody knows something you don't know. And I think it's just arrogance to think that you can go in and get the best solution. You may solve the problem, but it may not be the best solution, and it may come back to haunt you because you didn't get some of the facts right, or the details right, or what was possible. So I preach now more than ever, quit having meetings and have conversations. Just get a group of people in the room and put a round of chairs and no tables, and sit there and say, we got this problem, guys. Now well, what are we going to do about it? And you hear from everybody, and it's amazing where the solution comes from. Sometimes you had no idea, because you do not know all the experience people have, the situations they've been in, how they've solved a similar problem before. It's just smart, and it's a quicker way to solve issues and problems, and get them to stay solved. And you get a lot of support when you involve the other people. They want to help you implement it. So that we were all a team. This was our ideas. We got together, we worked on it. We're all going to implement it together, and we're going to make sure it works, and we're going to give it 100%. So there's a lot of reasons to involve other people, but just makes common sense that somebody knows something you don't know. Yeah.
When you're the leader in that situation and you've got a room full of team members who are on the ground and know, you've got maybe a couple of experts in there, what is the leader's role? I know in these situations before, I've heard you say, well, one of the things a leader should be doing is asking a lot of questions. Why is that important? Why is that part of a leader's role?
Well, I found that, to ask other people's opinions, a big compliment to them, and it helps draw them into feeling comfortable about participating. And frankly, I learned also that I need to give my opinion last if I'm the boss over there and I'm running this organization. I should not be telling people what I think right up front, because a lot of them people will stop talking. And so certainly asking questions gets everybody's minds moving in the direction or thinking about that one question. And what do you think we should do? And what would you do if you were me? And do you think this will really work? And have you ever experienced anything like this before? These are all things that can trigger the way we think. When somebody asks you, do you think this will work? And how would you do it if you were in my position? That makes their brain start thinking of that question and how to deal with it. So certainly new scenarios certainly help, and new ways of thinking. But I think the biggest thing you get out of this is you get a team that feels like they're a part of the team, and their opinion matters, and they feel respected, included, involved, listened to. And if you can get that culture going, you're going to have a lot fewer times you're going to have to sit in a room and solve these problems. I think I posted the other day that if you hire the right people and you involve them, you need less managers, because great people don't need supervision. And we just got to release all that energy in their brain and all those good ideas. So there's many good things about it, and we all like people to ask our opinion when it's going to affect us. I don't think there's a person in the world who doesn't like that and feel good about it and be more supportive of what comes out of that. So there are many reasons to do it.
One of the things I know that can happen in a group setting is people are reluctant to speak up. They're reluctant to say something that is risky or suggest an idea that might not work. How do you encourage more of that, more of the risky solutions that might not work?
Yeah, I think what happens over time, if this is your the way you run your business going forward, the word will get around the organization. Hey, those meetings that you have with Lee, they're great. He involves everybody. There's no downside. Nobody gets hurt. Over time, people understand that there's low risk or no risk, and they come into the meeting not afraid or not dubious. So you just got to stay on it and make sure you're showing respect to everybody. And again, I think that's the boss. Me. When I was there, I've got to not be the boss. I've got to be part of the team. I'm part of the team. That's why we're sitting in a circle. There's no head of this circle. The best solution might come from anywhere. And by the way, it's the only reason we're in here is we want to get a good solution. I don't care who comes up with or how we do it, because at the end of the day, our customers and our guests and we are going to win by solving problems in a way that are very effective and that we made all the right decisions.
I think there's two possible scenarios you can bring a team together to solve problems. One is there's an ongoing issue and you bring everyone together to solve it. The other could be something like a deadline. We learned that in the escape room. There wasn't a lot of time to sit and talk because we had such a hard deadline. How does this change when you're up against a deadline to solve a problem?
Well, we teach in time management that setting deadlines is one of the best ways to get things done. So everybody on the team understands that there is a deadline. I need this by Friday at 5 o'clock, and we've got to come to a conclusion by then. And we should have our first decision by noon on Friday so we can sort it out. And then we got to present the final solution to whoever at 5 o'clock. And getting people used to dealing with deadlines is important, because if more people would deal with deadlines and scheduling and keeping appointments and understanding that the time is going by, they will learn to have this success in all parts of their life. And it just becomes a part of the culture that we operate on deadlines, and we operate on clarity of those deadlines, and that if we're solving a big problem, we've got to stop everything else we're doing, and we got to focus on that, get it done, and then go to the next one. They say the best way is to do one thing at a time where thought is required. And that's probably right, instead of get 10 things going and then none of them are getting done. So yeah, and it's a leader's job to probably describe the urgency and clarity that I need this by 5 o'clock, because I've got to give this to the board of directors. I got to call the customer back by 5:30. Here's the reason I need it, and we've got to come to a solution.
Let's knock it down one level. We've talked about this so far from a leader's perspective. But what if you're one of the team members who's been invited to come and help solve a problem as part of a team? What are the best ways I can contribute, Lee? I'm not a leader. I've just been invited to come and help solve the problem.
Yeah, and I think it's the person that's running the meeting, who called the meeting, that sets up the guidelines and the rules and kind of tells everybody, hey, I want to hear from everybody today. There's no good answer. There's no bad answer. I just need to sort out all of this. And I know some of you are here for the first time or new, or you haven't been involved in anything like this before, but I'd love to hear from you. And then when you do hear from them, it's up to the person like me, if I was leading that organization, to handle that with a lot of finesse and a lot of appreciation. And thank you, that was a good thought. I'm going to put that down, and you start to prepare people for being involved. And we always know that appreciation, recognition, encouragement, and saying thanks, that's great, I'm glad you came. Thanks for getting involved today. Thank you for giving your opinion. That's important. That builds where you end up with an organization where people don't get nervous when they're called to a meeting or when they're asked for their idea. It's just the way we do business around here. So I would say that's probably the best way.
All right, Lee, I think this has been a great conversation. Maybe someday we get you back in an escape room, because I had a lot of fun doing that. But if you want to start somewhere to help build your team and move them towards thinking and solving problems as a team, a great place to start is the Cockerell Academy. I think that's where you'll find the best work that Lee and I do. You can go to cockerellacademy.com, and there's a couple of new courses in there that were added just within the last few months. We've got performance excellence, which goes very closely with what we're talking about here. And then the newest course is all about the frontline, the frontline rules. And that is fabulous for people who are working the frontline and representing your organization to customers and people that come in. So go to cockerellacademy.com, and that's where you can find out more about that. Until next week, go out and create magic for others.